Hi everybody and welcome to this video as part of the BK Guides series here on the channel. This is a series where we look at one course per video and it's ideal for those aiming to improve their tour play, either if you are stepping up into a new tour or you've got to learn a new course as part of a tour play reshuffle within the game. We're going to look at overviews of all 9 holes. This time we're looking at the PARC de Paris course. I'm going to be showing you my general routes and suggested elevations from all of the tees and mentioning some tour play strategy as well. Obviously we can't give precise adjustments for spin as they vary so much depending on club level, what balls you're using and what tee you're playing from. But the idea is just to give you some routes that you can work with and a good general guide to the course as a whole. We'll be looking in order, going from par 4s to begin with, then the par 5s, and then finishing off with the shootouts, where I'll be giving you my thoughts on how close you need to be to the pin in order to win most of the games. Timestamps are in the video description down below. Before we get started, please do remember to hit thumbs up on the video if you're enjoying the content here at BK Golf Clash. Become a subscriber if you'd like to. It's totally free and only takes a minute. And also if you click the bell button as well, you will get notified when we upload new content or go live. Here we go then, let's start with the par 4s. Lots to choose from here with the first par 4. We're going to look at the black line first, which is the most common route from the front tee, and that is bouncing over the rough with some topspin and some side spin to the right. 10% extra on the drive, and we want the ball to roll up towards, but obviously not roll in, the fairway bunker on the middle left of the diagram. You can, if you have bigger drivers, go directly over there as well without having to bounce over the rough. All depends what clubs and balls you are using. The white line is interesting, and here I'd only recommend this middle tee and third tee. And we want to have a good amount of topspin on our driver, about 6 bars, and we need some decent tailwind as well. And that of course will be bouncing over the massive fairway bunker in the middle, between all the fairways, and then rolling out close to the green. That is going to leave you with a short iron or a wedge if you go down the white arrows, and you might want to use a -10 elevation for the second shot as it is slightly uphill. But there is a nice downward slope you can bounce on and get a very good line to the pin for an eagle. If you are playing the black lines here, then the second shot I would play 0 elevation, and you've got a choice. Either you can do a rough bump above the bunker near the green, or you can go for a simple bounce over with the long iron. The blue line on the left, really for third tee only, unless you've really got a good set of equipment and balls and a load of tailwind off middle tee. But we have played this in Master Division, and that's obviously sending it, going with full curl. A good amount of overpower as well, but you do need predominantly a good amount of tailwind to be able to bounce on the left and go directly to green in 1. Now this par 4 really, especially if you are from the second and third tee and definitely into the higher tours, this one really is an important one to get an eagle on. There are very easy routes here for eagle, both sides, especially on the right. Obviously front tee, less likely to be dropped an eagle against you, but it's still a very, very good chance, and you should really be prepared to give this one a very, very good go if you can. Right hand side is the best route in my opinion, 10% extra, and we want to use top spin, right spin, and maybe need some counter curl as well if we have wind pushing us to the left. So I would say 2 bars of side spin here is good for this shot. Do not be greedy with the top spin. You can get a little extra roll here, which will get you perilously close to the bunkers. I like to land the ball up to the top of that shadow there on the right hand piece of fairway, because I know then I'm going to have a very nice short iron shot for the eagle. Now with that shot you bounce on the island where the red cross is, and we need to add spin so that you have, if possible, a straight ball guide running to the cup. That's very, very important. You need to use the appropriate amount of side spin to really find the funnel here on this green. I would always play true club distance plus 10% elevation. So measure your club distance as best you can. Find the minimum line, find the maximum line. Hopefully you're going to be using the short iron, and you estimate your club distance. use that as your slider percentage and add 10% elevation. Very, very good chance for an eagle. The white line on the left, not as easy because the funnel is not really there from the left-hand island, but in headwind, then this is a safer option, especially if you're from the back tee. 10% again here, going with some left spin, left curl and top spin really, rather than obviously right. And then you're more than likely going to have a long iron here unless you really travel and you've got max distance of the short iron. But the idea is the same. Play true club distance, bounce on the island and get yourself safely. And the last of the par 4s now. The black line is the most common route here. Even though you may get tailwind from the front and middle tee, I would still lay up here, because otherwise, even if you clear the stream there going right hand side, you're most likely going to have the trees in your way for second shot. So back it up, play with some backspin, 10% extra. It does fall slightly downhill before the rough there, so I would just back up a little bit more, stay on the side of caution here. Then you are going to have plus 10% long iron to the pin. If you have very high wind and particularly crosswind, then I would recommend playing this second shot plus 20. But like I say, these are only general elevations. You will need to tweak them once you know what wind conditions you are dealing with. The white line on the left really for bigger accounts here. Expert and master players, obviously from the higher tours. If you get a good amount of tailwind or tail crosswind left to right, you can send it with a load of topspin and a load of right curl. Bounce over there, and then you will have a very, very makeable short iron or wedge for an eagle on this par 4. On to the par 5s we go, and this one does have its moments of trickiness, especially if we do get any headwind angle, and that's going to be the same for all 3 tees. 10% on the drive, my preferred line is the left-hand side along the black arrows, and we want to use all the topspin that we have here, as well as some side spin and or some curl to the left. Obviously you can see the fairway over the bunker there is a little bit narrow at first, so you do want to get your first and second bounce on the fairway. But the idea is to gain as much distance as possible, which is why lots of topspin is needed. You may well need a smidge of overpower as well, but be careful if you are playing in straight tailwind that you do not land directly into the rough or the sand near to where I've put the 10% elevation marker. You will get some extra push here, particularly from the second and third tee. So, providing your drive goes well, minus 5% for the second shot as it is played uphill. And depending how far you reach, you could have a wood club here. You could be lucky enough to play with a long iron. And you've got 2 options. If you do have a wood club with a load of backspin, which may not be the case in tour play, but it depends if you are a Guardian lover or not, you can go directly before the green with max backspin. If not, you can bounce over where I've got the blue cross marked there. The same with the long iron as well. All depends what you are packing in your bag for tour play. Power 3 ball though is a must here. White hand, the white route rather on the right hand side is something I've been playing from third tee if we've had a lot of headwind there, and that's just bouncing over, trying to get over there safely. The problem is with this route is you are left with a very difficult second shot, and a wood club there with 180 yards is advisable. It's very tricky to get that ball to green unless you've got a good drive on the right. So some challenging moments here on this first par 5. Now with this par 5 I would say it's not without its challenges, but it is slightly easier than the other 2 in my opinion. There's really only one route to play, and that's the one that I've marked. Even in headwind I do try and get over there, and of course if it's very, very strong and not possible from third tee, then we just have to lay up and then go right side. But generally, we want to use a load of top spin, left spin, and hopefully some left curl to make sure we clear the bunker and use the top spin to roll down there towards the second of the fairway bunkers. If we do have any form of headwind, be sure to allow room for the second bounce, because you will find the wind effect here on that bounce over is quite prominent. 20% extra on the drive from all tees for me. That will then leave you a 0% wood club shot for your second. And you've got 2 choices. You can either go for a rough bump aiming at the base of the tree trunk there or just next to it, ball guide to hole, hopefully you got the sniper, or you can just do a straightforward bounce shot instead. So there is a chance for an albatross here. Like I said, it's not a guarantee, but it's definitely the easier of the par 5s. Final par 5 now, and this one is very tricky really, for me at least. The classic dilemma here of what wood club to use. Now really you need a 180 yard wood club, but obviously you've then got to think about the shootouts as well. So do you gamble and go for it with a shorter wood club, or are you just going to pack the big dog or the cataclysm and then, you know, deal with the shootout as you need to? That's up to you to decide really. Depends what tour you're in and what the other courses are that are in that tour as well. However, the route we've got here, right hand side for me, 0% on the drive, and you want to get that ball towards the end of the fairway as much as possible. But bear in mind, we don't want to aim too far to the right because there will be trees in the way, and we don't want to come in too hot because the fairway does slope down towards the very end and we do not want to roll into the rough. So 0% on the drive, and then the second shot 10%, and we blast it between the trees. Can't see on the overview, but when you get down there on the hole, you will see there are a couple of trees with a decent gap between them, and that is where we are looking to drive the ball in between on the second shot. 5 or 6 bars of topspin really is needed, and this is where, like I say, big dog or cataclysm, very, very useful. Some players will do a risky shot on the left-hand island, full blast, full curl, or maybe even a slice as well, but general strategy for tour play is play some fairway golf here and try and get to the green in 2. If you are enjoying this guide, be sure to check out the channel homepage on YouTube or visiting bkgolfclash.com, where you'll find lots of other Golf Clash content, including general walkthroughs for all tournaments in the game, main tournaments, major tournaments, and also 9-hole cups. On to the shootouts we go now, and we've got 20% elevation really for all 3 tees as a general guide. The white line is the most common route, especially for front and second tee. Front tee is going to be with a long iron, and you're going to need a few bars of backspin, maybe slightly less of course if you do have some headwind, but get over there, and with a little bit of right spin as well, aim towards the pin on that one. You want to bounce over the bunker. You don't want to come in too hot though, because after the pin, if you do have too much pace, you will roll into the rough and most likely the sand as well. Wood club needed from the second tee, so the sniper is the key really on that one, and do make sure, as always, if you do have strong headwind, make sure you compensate for that secondary push on the bounce there with the wind, because we see a lot of players coming up short and not actually making the green at all in headwind. Third tee, you're going to be with a wood club with crosswind and any form of tailwind, still going on the white line, and maybe even headwind as well if you do have a wood club with distance. However, the black line I have put there, if you do have to use a driver from third tee, play on the right side, but you will need a lot of backspin and some left curl as well. So tricky one there from third tee, but that gives you an idea on this first of the shootouts. I would recommend really on this hole, to be in with a good chance of winning, we want to be within 3 yards. Now here we have 2 options listed, although for me, to be honest, the white arrow is tournament only and a bit too risky to play in tour play, but I'm going to include it just in case anybody wants to have a go at it. But for me, black line, usually in tour play, bouncing around the tip of the shadow there, furthest away from the tee. And I play this one generally 10%. Sometimes I would go to 20% from third tee. But you want to bounce up there, really. And it's going to be long iron for front tee. Obviously then a wood club anything further back than that. Once again, pace is key on this one, and that's the case with all of the shootouts really in the Parc de Paris, because there are some moments on the green, if you are too short or too long, you will roll a fair distance away really from the pin. So for this one, it's a slightly easier shootout in my opinion than the other 2. I would consider really you need to be within 2 yards to have a good chance of this. Within 3 yards is not bad, but within 2 is a little bit better if you can. Now we come on to the trickiest of the shootouts, and it's all about pace here, and of course pace is important even if you've got a flat green, but here it's even more so, because if you are short on this one, the ball will simply roll back down the hill towards the landing position. You will be about 18-19 yards away from the pin. In similar fashion, if you come in way too hot, you will roll off the back of the green and into the sand. So this is one to get the amount of backspin absolutely sorted in all of the wind directions. 10% general elevation, but obviously third tee we may want to use slightly more depending what wind value you're dealing with. Usually though, the white line and the black cross is where we're going to be bouncing. Don't try and bounce in the bunker there on that little pad. It's completely useless. In my opinion, you won't get a consistent bounce at all. Front tee is going to be with a long iron, so you've obviously got to mix and match your backspin and also put a little bit of side spin on here to make sure you are on line. There's also the blue cross there that is marked generally for third tee, but occasionally we play near there from pro and expert, or middle tee as well with sniper. And third tee is going to be driver in any form of headwind, and that is very, very, very difficult really. So pace is key on this one. I would say within 4 yards for lower tours, but then as we get through the tours, within 3 is what you're aiming for here. Thank you very much for watching this course guide video. If you have found it useful, please do share amongst your friends in the game, and don't forget to check out the rest of the course guides in the playlist. If you do have any questions whatsoever, please do join us on Facebook in our group BK Golf Clash. We have thousands of members there. Link is in the video description down below. Friendly place where players of the game of all skill levels can interact, help each other out and ask questions. So you can ask away there. No question will be considered too trivial. Wonderful people there will be happy to help out. Thank you once again for watching. See you all very soon. Bye for now.